Hello. Let's get this party started.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank
Glad to
you.
see you this week.
Thank you.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I I had like something last week with my company because I work as a consultant, so I
That's
couldn't.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. And welcome, Amanda.
Hi, how you all
Hi.
going? It's
Doing
getting cold
well.
here.
Let's see.
Getting
We're already
cold in the
recording. Let
city.
me share my screen. Now, do I
You
remember
guys are,
correctly? We're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 today? Or did we do that last week?
didn't we do 7 last week?
We did 7
Well,
last
we
week?
were gonna do 7 again,
We're
but
going to do 7
Yeah.
again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we mentioned we would spend 2 more weeks on 7.
That's right, because 7 is 7. It's
Yeah.
special. I like to say
30%.
it's
seven,
bougie.
seven, seven, seven.
That's right. Okay, we're on 7. Um, Before we get started, I just want to set clear expectations. I'm heading out in the morning for a vacation I've been waiting for 4 years for. And so Esther is going to take over this next week for us. So if you know Esther, she's our vice president of training and professional development, and she just wants to do a good job. Uh, y'all know our guys are all good, right? You won't be mean to them, I'm sure. One more note. I see that we've got a star amongst us. Do y'all know I've talked to you about Shannon before, right? Well,
Yes.
Shannon's going to be presenting to the Tampa Bay chapter in about a month and a half, something like that.
End of July.
End of July. So not only does she have her first ebook out, she's going to be presenting. She is moving up, guys. Come to support her, okay? Okay.
Trying not to be so quiet these days. Although in this meeting I'm quiet as can be.
We can fix that. I'm not going to call on you. I wouldn't do that to you, though. Okay.
Hello.
So we're going to work on chapter 7 today. As you know, chapter 7 is 30% of your test. So you really, really need to get it down, right? I mean, if you get all of chapter 7 right, you got at least 30% of the test. You're good. So let's get started. As a senior business analyst, you've been approached by a junior business analyst to provide advice on when to use a capability model category. So here's what our topic is. Which of the following is a correct response? So can you tell me where is capability model category in chapter 7?
The solution, like 7.5 define solution. I'm bad in chapter. Uh,
Let's find out. Let's go through the answers. When representing a sequence of actions, events, or a course that may be taken. When representing features or functions of an enterprise or a solution. When representing the characteristics and the exchange of information within an enterprise or a solution. When representing organizations, groups of people, roles, and their relationships within an enterprise and to a solution. Let me give you a 5 count. We'll come back and eliminate one. Okay. Which should we eliminate?
Hey.
hey, and
And which one do we think is the right answer?
When they talk about capabilities, isn't that about what the people in the organization can do and how they can successfully deliver a solution? Like we talked about last week, there was something we failed about. The answer was we need to make sure we've got developers who can actually build the thing. Is that what they mean when they say capability?
I
An
think
organizational capability. which is what you're talking about. This question talking about something different, I think.
Wow.
Let's
So
answer it. Well,
capability,
sure. I think we're in defined design options, but I'm not positive.
It's a solution capability we want to develop.
Okay.
solution capability. So then the answer has got to be B.
Exactly.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I'm guessing.
It is B.
It is B.
I like
Lucky
B.
This
guess.
is the stated description. So we are in 7.1 specified model requirements.
Because
And
the D is
7-1,
more about
7-1,
roles and
21.
relationship. It's
so
about
it's the capabilities in model requirements that we're talking about. Features or functions of enterprise or a solution.
So, like when you say capabilities, do you mean things like the system must have a login function? The system must be able to generate reports. Is that what you mean by capabilities?
let's say you are in an organization, okay? Your
Yeah.
organization within any team, they have to capability, let's say, to produce any kind of a product or any kind of services, which they are not, but they are capable of doing it. That's your organization capabilities.
Okay.
This is
Is it
our
always a
Mhm.
capability that they're not currently producing? Or is it all of the capabilities that they are currently producing and the ones that they're capable of producing but not
that.
currently producing?
I
Yeah,
think
Oh,
it's
everything
the
they
one that they're
are,
not
they
and the
can.
one they are.
Okay.
okay. So the description is models focus on features or functions of an enterprise or solution. Well, that doesn't help. Okay. Fine. I'll make a note to go and read about that later.
You might also check the watermark book to see if it gives you some more information.
Sure.
Okay. Goody, goody. You are assigned to a project to help re-engineer a bank's statement processing. Another team member showed you this diagram of what he had modeled. He said the scope of the project is concentrated around the items shown. However, you're not familiar with this type of diagram. So let's see. I think if I copy this and I'll drop it in the chat. Now I can make it where you can see all of it. So this is the diagram. He said the scope of the project is centered around this. So you've got account, you've got this, which means it's a key number. Oh, it's key something. What is it, guys?
Is it a key
The
indicator?
index value.
Unique
Okay.
Key
identifier.
Like a
performance
primary
indicator.
key?
Primary
Uh,
key.
It's a
Primary key.
primary
Primary
key.
key.
That's right.
uh,
This is the primary key, which means this is what other things link to for this one.
Yeah.
So primary key is the account number, and then it also has date opened, account balance, account type, which FK is one of the allowed values, and then it has more fields. So this one is related to a statement whose primary key is a statement ID, statement date, period ending date. So these are the three fields in the statement table. I'm going to admit to you that cardinality is something that always gets me confused. So this is what I think it is. Y'all tell me if I'm right. A single account can have multiple statements. And
Many.
that's why you got a one to many right here. One account
Yes.
can have multiple statements, but
Yeah.
a statement, s- n-
The
zero
state,
statements.
The
The
statement
statement
is
is the other way.
associated with one account.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's that one. So account to account type, the primary key is account type code, and then there's account type and description. Looks like description is a sub of account type because see how it's indented there? This is a one-to-one, means one account has one account type.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then what is the zero to many here? Is it
The account type can be on none or many accounts.
that's
Right.
right.
I
So you can have
think
like
it
an account
means
of
an account can only have one account type.
okay, so an account can only have one account type, but a single account type can be on many accounts. And then
Yes.
we've got our transaction table. The primary key is transaction ID. Then there's the transaction date and transaction amount. Below the line here, this is special. You got your post-transaction and your report, which the type of report is transaction. Can anybody tell me what these are down here below the line?
Key figures, numbers, figures, measures.
Those are all good guesses, but I don't think that's right.
Post
The
transaction and
functions,
report.
Transaction.
Wouldn't that be like accounting codes or something? Like you post a transaction. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I think that
think
these are
Isn't
for,
it a
associated
precondition?
functions.
Isn't it like a condition? Precondition?
No,
No?
these are the functions in which transaction is used in.
Yeah. So you post a
And
transaction somewhere,
right.
and
Mm-hmm.
you also report that transaction in a
Right.
report. So it's
Right.
two things that you do.
Okay.
That's what
And
I'm thinking.
function may not be the right word, but this is what it's used for. I may not get the right word. So this is cardinality. That's what this is called. These are cardinalities.
Yeah.
And it's one of two different ways to identify quantities. The other one is called crow's foot notation. There might be a third one. There probably is a third one. So this is
um,
what we have. And I'm going to go ahead, Bob.
again, think object-oriented programming. An object has data items in it. I can't remember what they're called. I think they're elements, and then they have functions bound to them.
Okay. And guys, think about who would want to see this kind of notation. This is like whenever you're creating a database, this table is related to this table in this manner. And you got to relate them using the key something indicators, the key fields. These that have the pound sign beside them. That's how you say this account number is linked to this one. You got to use the right fields to link them so that you can say you've got these six tables that are pulled together, and you're saying I want all the account numbers that are within this range, but I also want this other information from this table, and then that links to another thing. I'm not saying it very well. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
so
That's
essentially
right.
Yeah.
each one is a table in a database,
Yes.
in a
Yes.
relational
Each one of
database.
these are tables,
You're
and then
right.
these are fields,
Right.
Mhm.
and these are functions.
And then to establish a relationship between each table, you have a primary key and a
Mm-hmm.
foreign key, right? So the
Right.
primary key on one source table becomes a
Uh-huh.
foreign key on a relational table, and that's how you're able to establish a relationship between each entity, if you will.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Lincoln, when are you teaching a class for Tampa Bay, IIBA?
I have to get back to you there. I have so much going on right
I know,
now.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no
Guys,
worries.
we do want y'all to come teach classes in the thing that you feel comfortable in. So if you have something, think about it, okay? Okay, so a different team member questions the post-transaction and report transaction attributes down here in the transaction box. What is a correct response? The other team member is incorrect because names below the line in a class diagram represent operations. The other team is correct and the two items are probably misnamed attributes. The other teammate is correct and the two items are actually other classes related to a given class. The other team member is incorrect because the names below the line on a class diagram represent foreign keys. Which one do you think is true?
Can we see the
I,
question again,
yeah,
please?
can I see the question?
Yeah. Okay.
He had modeled this. He said the scope of the project is concentrated around these items.
That the scope is component. Okay.
So what we want to know is, are
Yeah,
these,
I
what
think
are
yeah,
the,
I think B.
okay,
I I
test
could be
B.
wrong. I think it's B.
You
I
know
think
what? We're going
B
to learn together.
or A. A.
Clearly A.
So A is the correct answer. The other team member is incorrect because names below the line on the class diagram represent operations. Class
Operations.
diagrams use this
Functions.
convention. If you have
We're good
questions
at
about
answer.
this, go look it up in the Babok
Okay.
or look at the techniques section 6. I have all of this in there, including crow's foot notation. Okay. The business expert wants to make sure that statements can be produced at least monthly or or
Oops.
quarterly from this information. What do you tell her? A business rule would state the timing of the statement production. Another type of model would be the one to dictate how often statements are produced. There's nothing in this model to limit how often statements are produced. You need to see other documentation to be sure. So from this, can you tell how often statements are produced?
No.
No.
Is there any
No.
limit on this that tell you how often or that they
Nope.
can't be anything?
Nope.
There's no attribute there for cadence or frequency.
So you think C?
But also, well, A is kind of correct as well. But I
no.
don't know.
That's true.
But if it's in the context of the diagram, then it would be C.
A business
Okay.
rule is a different technique. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
test C. Oh,
Oh, interesting. Wait,
so
what can
it
you scroll?
says, let me
True.
make it bigger
And
because I think
they
I can't.
all say the same thing. It's a little
Yeah,
bit unfair question.
nuances.
I believe you would not get a question on the actual exam that's this poorly formed, and you thought your way through it correctly. So that's good.
So you walk through it well. Do look this up if you didn't get this correct. But let's see, the documentation needed to tell how often things are happening is called metadata, which you know is data about data. And it includes what the entities represent, when and why they were created and changed, how they should be used, how often would be used, when, and by whom. Okay. Which of the following stakeholders are included in the verify requirements? So verify requirements, the definition is ensure that requirements and design specifications and models meet quality standards and are usable for the purposes that they serve. The stakeholders involved in that. Is it all stakeholders?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the answer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You're correct. Good job. I'm glad that you were so forceful about that. It's like, yes, I know this one. Joseph is assessing each design option based on the potential value it is expected to deliver and ensuring that it represents the most effective trade-offs. Which of the following would he not consider in this activity? So, what task is he in, guys?
Is he in
Right option?
7.1?
The last
Find
task.
design option.
Analyze potential value.
Oh, analyze potential value.
Okay. So in that case, would he consider or not consider dependencies between requirements?
This
Probably,
we need it.
probably not. It's too
Probably
granular.
not. Okay. Let's check the others. Would he consider requirements allocation?
Yes.
To solution components, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about available resources?
Yes.
I think so.
Constraints on the solution.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, let's test A.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so A is
Fine.
not correct because some capabilities may provide limited value to the organization, but need to be delivered to support other high value requirements. Requirements allocation is not considered because it should have been considered while defining the design options, making it the correct answer.
So picky.
This is one of the hardest chapters, so
Oh
you
my
knew this.
goodness.
So picky.
It's okay.
And it's
We're going to make it through this. We're going to make it through 8, and then y'all will be ready to go. In what task are requirements allocated to a solution component or release? Is this the task specifying model requirements, verify requirements, analyze potential value and recommend solution, or define design options?
We just did it.
Say it again.
Isn't that from the last question? We just did it.
Yeah. Requirements allocation happens in
Define.
define design options.
Yeah, define
Yep.
design.
I
Okay.
think.
You're correct. It is define design options. In define design options, you define the solution approach, identify opportunities to improve the business, allocate requirements across solution components, and represent design options that will achieve the desired future state. That's what you do during that task. How does the BABOK define a requirement? What is a requirement according to the BABOK? A proposal for doing or achieving something, a usable representation of need, a usable representation of a solution, or a stakeholder expectation.
Are we looking for the answer? We're doing a countdown.
Tell me the answer.
B.
I think
B.
B. Bravo.
This is the definition listed in the BABOK. Incidentally, I did put that document into the Slack repository of the difference between requirements and solutions. I really recommend you read it. It's 3 pages. I wish somebody had made one for me before I took my test. You have been asked to facilitate a workshop to help clarify the scope of a solution. Your objective is to. So clarify the scope of the solution. What task are we in?
Isn't it in the define?
analyze.
Yeah, specify and analyze.
Yeah, it's analyze potential.
Okay. In that case, your objective is to organize requirements based on the solution components that they're related to, complete design analysis based on the project scope, complete a sequence diagram for all interactions within the scope of the project, or complete business architecture for the proposed scope of a solution. Which one should we eliminate, guys?
This complete business, complete a sequence for all interaction with the scope of complete document analysis, compromise based on
Can
Okay.
I just
Do
ask,
we
sorry,
all-
what task was were we in again? What task was
Well,
this?
I had to vote that this was 7.6.
I don't
And
think
like,
it's
correct?
7.6.
no, I just
Is it 7.6 or a different one?
I don't think it's not saying that these is part of the elements.
Isn't it?
Define, design, solution scope. Yeah, 7.5, maybe.
Okay.
It's application.
Yeah, I think it is the defined design. Isn't it there to be able to propose a solution and to define a solution, you need the scope?
Seems like it.
Yeah, you need the scope to be able to define your solution because
Right.
you need the boundaries of the scope.
Right. It's got to be within that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so do we want to, what do we think is the right answer?
A. I think A.
Pick A.
I
Yeah.
think A.
Yeah,
Or B.
Scope
A.
models are used to describe
Yeah.
the scope of an analysis and the scope of a solution. So you got both 7.1 and
And
uh,
even
the 41st technique.
so even never in it's in specify and model requirements in chapter 1 in like task 1. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Scope
So
modeling.
let's go look at 7.1. Specified model requirements is when you analyze, synthesize, and refine elicitation results into requirements and designs and clarify the scope of a solution.
But why
Will that
7.1?
be scope modeling?
I think
Yeah.
it is.
And that talks about what is in scope and what is out of scope. So that would
Where,
be
where is that?
7.1.6.
Oh, here it is. Scope
One of
modeling.
your guidelines and tools is solution scope for
Exactly.
7.1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's solution scope.
Okay. Now we know. Okay. Move forward. Which of the following is a well-written requirement? Remember, this is well-written according to what the BABOK says. It's well-written, okay?
You have one not answered. The previous one, is it not answered?
Did I not answer it?
Yeah, it's
I
answered.
answered it.
Yeah, weird.
The one we're on is not answered.
This one. Let me go back. Yep, this is the one that's unanswered. Which of the following is a well-written requirement? After the order is physically shipped, it should be modified to ship status. The control center operator shall be able to view details of the protected household within 2 seconds of issuing a query. Gene will have the capability of online purchase through the web business analysis system. Users shall have to register, unregister, and if possible, deactivate the facility. What can we eliminate, guys?
D.
Why?
No,
Because it
isn't
says
it?
if possible.
And C.
It's not,
Okay.
it's ambiguous.
Too broad.
It should be ambiguous.
So what is it we're going to choose?
B.
B.
I think B.
Why do we like B?
Because it's specific and atomic.
This is a complete sentence that meets all the characteristics of a good requirement. Whenever I think about good requirements, I automatically think about, is it testable? Is there a yes or no answer? Because it's like, when? How much? What? Yep. Yes or no.
That's for verification, not validation, though. Validation might be different.
That's right. This is verify. Is it good enough? Is it well written? Is it good quality? A junior business analyst is modeling requirements in order to identify and validate inputs and outputs of the solution she is modeling. She approaches James, a senior business analyst, for advice. What modeling technique would James advise the junior business analyst to use? So, modeling to identify, validate inputs and outputs. Is this an interface analysis, a process model, prototyping, or Kano analysis? Which one should we eliminate?
A.
A.
Input output.
That's your answer? Or
Yes.
eliminate? Okay.
No. I think it's B. Oh.
No.
So process modeling is not correct because
Can you
it's used to show
think-
steps or
think-
activities that would be performed in the organization. It's not used to validate inputs and outputs of the solution. Which
Right.
I've kind of used it that way, but the BABOK says it's an interface analysis.
It's
Think about it.
subtle because all the elements of a process model have interfaces to all the other elements, or at least the connected ones. What they generally mean with an interface is not between elements inside a system, but with the elements of a system to other systems. So you're crossing a control boundary someplace or a scope boundary. That's what they're talking about.
Think about a context diagram whenever you think about interface analysis. This is connected to this. What kind of diagram is used in the specified model requirements task to show how processes or objects interact during a scenario by showing the information passed between them? Is this a process diagram, a sequence diagram, an activity diagram, or a context diagram?
Context, information, show how process or object during a scenario. Yeah, because I think it's context.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Sequence.
So a sequence context diagram is a type of data flow diagram and is not used to specify and not used in the specified model requirements task. A sequence diagram is used in the specified model task, and that's what it's describing.
But a sequence diagram is more about timing and measurement. It probably shows the flow between elements, but it doesn't necessarily have to talk about the information of the messages or the form. So it's more about timing. So that question seems to me a little tricky, but
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. What is the primary difference between requirements and designs? Requirements are the responsibility of the BA. Designs are the responsibility of the design architects. Requirements and designs are synonyms and can be used interchangeably. It depends on how they're being used and by whom. Requirements are documented in models, at which point they become a design. What can we eliminate, guys?
A.
Yeah.
I thought we answered this question in one of the
I
previous
think
tests.
it is B.
It's
Yeah, I
C.
think it's B. No.
I thought it was
Oh,
B.
yes.
I was thinking
Jennifer's
B.
right. Jennifer's, well, it
B
both
or
B and
D.
C correct. Yeah.
It does it in the
Jennifer's
BABOK.
right. Yeah, Jennifer's right.
Hey, let's try B.
See?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, that's the whole reason I made that little packet to talk about difference between requirements and solutions.
that's a dumb answer because a requirement is a need and a design is how you're going to meet the need. They're absolutely different things. I hate that definition.
I hate that chapter.
I appreciate that you hate that definition, but it literally says this in the chapter.
Yeah, and that's why the Babok is wrong, but give them the answer they want.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's purposefully confusing people for no good reason.
Yep. Catherine is preparing to specify model requirements, so we know what task she's on. She starts with conducting a thorough stakeholder analysis to identify stakeholders and analyze their characteristics. What technique is Catherine using? Think about what the technique is called, not about what she's doing, okay? Stakeholder list maps or personas, roles and permissions matrix, organizational modeling, stakeholder analysis. Which one can we eliminate?
B.
Well,
Yep.
she's asking
What is
about
the right answer?
Technique, not the output. The technique is I think, is organizational modeling.
Isn't it
Not-
A?
It's not asking, well, here's my, this is what I'm reading into it, and this is about semantics, but they're not asking what is the output. They're asking what technique is she employing. That's just what I think.
But in the personas, you put the characteristic of stakeholders.
Yes, but
I
it's not
agree with
asking.
B.
It's not asking what is the artifact that she's producing. They're asking what technique is she employing.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I haven't actually looked at
All of
Babok,
those
so
are
I could be.
legitimately lifted techniques.
Sorry?
All of those are techniques in chapter.
Oh, are they really? Oh, then ignore everything I said.
It's stakeholder. It
Member
is
by
a.
stakeholder.
A.
It's
Is
on
it because-
page 141.
Because you
Oh.
have
Oh.
map and
Yeah, it's A.
the personas, it gives you always characteristics.
That's the key word.
Wouldn't it be B?
Analyze their characteristics. It's
Role
A.
and permission is the role.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a Babok technique.
Okay, I lied. Amanda, I apologize.
Sorry?
Stakeholder analysis apparently is not a technique, so I lied to him.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Bob sucks.
That's misleading. That's semantics and misleading.
Mm-hmm.
The test is not going to be misleading like this. It's much more straightforward. This is designed to just make you really be sure you have all the foundation. Okay, let's keep going. Which of the following is not true about business rules? Business rules generally, I'm sorry, business rules guide operational business decision making. Business rules shape day-to-day business behavior. Business rules are exclusively expressed and managed through implementation technology for a given solution. Business rules changes can be implemented quickly if they're managed by a single enterprise-wide engine. So 3 of these are true, 1 of these is not. Let's start at the top. Is this true?
Yes.
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 Is this true?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is this true?
No.
No.
Is this true?
Yes.
Yes.
You're correct. You do understand. Good job. Which of the following is not a verification activity? So verification activities are going to be in the one task, this verification, right? Checking for correct use of modeling notation, templates, or forms. Checking for compliance with organizational performance standards for business analysis. Identify and verify assumptions. Checking for completeness within each model. So 3 are, 1 is not. Let's start at the top. Is this a verification activity?
Yes.
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 Is this a verification activity?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about this one? Sounds like a maybe no. Let me
No,
say
I
it's a
think
maybe
no.
no.
I think yes, the D is not completeness within each model. Identify and
Yeah,
verify.
C and D sound more like
Yeah,
they validate requirements rather than verify.
I think
But I
C
don't-
is not C. It is
C.
C. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
verification is checking for completeness within each model.
Yeah.
Identify and verify assumptions is fabricated. Assumptions are identified and defined in order to manage any associated risk.
Yeah.
You understand why we got that one wrong? Okay. That is where the learning happens. Define design options is a task in which of the following knowledge areas? Oh, this is going to be hard.
Exactly.
We're only in one knowledge area, so I'm going to give it to you. On a project, a business analyst makes sure that the requirements models have met the necessary standard of quality so they can be used effectively to guide further work. What has the business analyst been doing? So what's the name of the task that has that definition, guys? Is it documenting a transition requirement, verifying a requirement, validating the requirement, or specifying and modeling the requirement? What can we eliminate?
A.
Okay.
No.
What is the correct answer?
B.
Yeah. I thought A the answer.
Verifying makes sure the requirement is good enough to continue working with.
Because you said the Y is for quality. Verify goes with quality.
Y is for quality. Ensure the requirement and design specification and models meet quality standards and are usable for the purpose that they serve. It does sound a lot more like validate, doesn't it? Ensure the requirements and designs align to the business requirement and support the delivery of needed value. Necessary standard of quality. So quality is verify so that they can be used to guide further work. Okay, Padma and her team are ensuring all requirements work in harmony as a single whole that supports overall business objectives and produces meaningful outcomes for the stakeholder. What is the purpose of this exercise? Is this to manage requirements relationships, to define requirements architecture, to harmonize requirements, or to define design options? All requirements work as in harmony as a single whole and supports the overall business objectives and provides meaningful outcomes to stakeholders. Which one is that a definition of?
B.
Define
As in
requirements.
boy.
B.
Yeah, architecture.
This is the purpose of the define requirements architecture task. What is the purpose of the specify and model requirements task? To ensure that all requirements and designs align to the business requirements and support the delivery of needed value. To ensure that the requirements and design specification and models meet quality standards and are usable for the purposes that they serve. To analyze, synthesize, and refine elicitation results into requirements and designs. To fit the individual models and specifications together to ensure that all the requirements form a single whole. So we know this one isn't because which one is this the definition of?
Verify.
Verify, because it says quality. This one is a definition of which one?
Validate.
It's
Validate.
yeah.
Right. So we only have two left. Which one do you think it is?
B.
C.
Z. C for Charlie.
Yeah.
This is a stated purpose. Specify and model requirements, analyze and synthesize and refine elicitation results. Think about it like a funnel into requirements and designs. It pulls it down into a thing that can be called a requirement or a design. Not every process analyzed will be transformed by a software solution. So processes that are flagged in the design plan as not being a candidate for automation will not undergo further elaboration during the technical design, which is when they create the automation. With that premise, which of the following statements is not true? So 3 are true, 1 is not. The business analyst will have decomposed and modeled the process and identified new procedures. The business analyst and the process owner may have determined new manual steps that may streamline and improve the current process. The business analyst should present recommendations to the appropriate project stakeholders to determine if proposed improvements should be considered for implementation. The business analyst should refrain from documenting recommendations to transform the process that are outside the scope of software automation. So let's start at the bottom. Is this true?
No.
No.
Do we feel like all the rest of these are true?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're correct. We should consider documenting recommendations like simplify the work people perform by re-engineering or sharing processes, even though they're outside of the scope of automation. So basically, it's if we see something that could be better, it's our job to document it, even if it's not something we're going to pursue immediately or even within the scope of this project. It's like this would be better if we did this way. It's our job.
Or it's something that can be changed, but not part of the automation per se.
Mm-hmm.
So it could still be in scope. There are a million ways to attack it. Give them extra if you can.
I one time walked into an insurance agency and they said, we have some problems and we don't know how to fix them. And so I just sat in the corner and watched them work. And I literally saw, those little notes that they used to write, phone messages on, John called, calling back at this number, those things. I literally saw them falling down between the desks. And it's like, oh, let's fix this. I gave them a basket. Didn't need to be automated. They just needed to see it from an outside perspective so that they could figure out how to improve it. Hey, Lynn is ensuring the requirements and designs have been defined correctly and provide the necessary information for further work that will be performed. This is a definition. What task is Lynn doing? Is it validate requirements, perform quality assurance, verify requirements, or maintain requirements?
C.
Yep. Yep.
You just have it all.
That is
You
correct.
just have it. Mm-hmm.
A viewpoint is a set of conventions that define how requirements will be represented, how these representations will be organized, and how they will be related. Which of the following is not an example of a viewpoint? Audit and security, data models and information, views, business process models. So let's start at the top. Is audit and security an example of a viewpoint?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it?
Data models and information.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Views.
Yes.
Business process models. So which one are we going to choose?
I would choose C.
I think C.
Yeah.
C, because it's not out.
Very broad.
This is the actual requirements and designs for the particular solution from a chosen viewpoint. This is not an example of a viewpoint. A view is not a viewpoint.
Under which
Right.
chapter, like 7 point, which task?
I think this was
A requirement viewpoints and views 7.4.4. Yeah. 7.4.4. Okay.
this is the one that I told y'all broke my brain. I could not figure out what it was trying to say until I looked at the watermark book. And it was like, oh, that's the entire reason I insist that we provide y'all the watermark book now,
Here it
just so
is.
you have it.
And just so you know, view or viewpoint is not in the index of the BABOK.
Documenting a requirement that describes a customer's interaction with a proposed system to accomplish a goal is best associated with which of the following techniques? Customer doing something with the system to accomplish a goal. Is that a user story, a use case, an activity diagram, or a data flow diagram? What do y'all think?
User story.
User story.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Exactly.
Use case?
Yes.
Oh, it's a use case.
Yeah.
Use case.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
really?
Did y'all
Use
say
case.
user story and I chose use case? I'm sorry. Must be a gimme. So a use case is a the system displays a menu. The user selects the first option. The system does this thing. The user does this thing. The system does this thing. So it turns it into very black and white. Either you test it and it's achieving it, or you test it and it's not achieving it. So those are use cases.
Can you
A
click on
user
user story
story.
for us,
I'm sorry,
please,
go
and
ahead.
see what could you please
Oh,
click on
yes,
user story for us?
I will.
See what it says, why it explains.
User stories document features and stakeholder objectives at a high narrative level. They're not necessarily about interactions between users and systems.
I would disagree, but not according to the Babok sign. I'll accept that.
I understand why you disagree, just so you know. A user story can be written from the point of view of a system element interacting with another part of the system. So it doesn't need to involve a user explicitly. A use case does, mostly.
Okay, we're almost done. Specifying a model requirements is a task in which the following knowledge areas. Oh my goodness. Bonus. Jennifer is working with the defining design options, identifies that bank managers from various branches have a common need and can better be met via a single solution, thereby reducing costs. What kind of improvement opportunity is she looking at? So this is one of those categorizing an improvement opportunity. Is this identify additional capabilities, eliminating redundancy, automating the work, or improve access to communication?
I think I've read this somewhere else, and I
think
Sounds
think
like
the answer is
A.
I think
B.
B, eliminating redundancy. I think so.
Oh, but yeah.
I think is
I think it's B.
Go with
A.
B.
That's it. This
Yeah.
is one of the examples of opportunities that the business analyst is likely to identify. Let's submit this exam. 72%. So our belief is if you make a 75 on your practice test, you'll probably pass your exam. I can't tell you for sure because it's a sliding scale based upon who's taking it at this time and they never publish. So together, we're doing pretty good, but a lot of this is because y'all are hearing each other's ideas and you're able to come to a conclusion. Let's stay on chapter 7 next week with Esther, and y'all can continue to just work on chapter 7, okay? I want to be sure you got this down solid individually. Any questions? Let me show you this just to remind you. Let's see, domestic. In your file repository, I think it's at the bottom, requirements versus designs. This came out of chapter 5, but this is where you really need it. Okay, so it's the solution, design, requirement, all those things. It's only about 3 pages, but I think it's well worth it. Does anyone have any questions before we sign off?
Yeah, I have a question, Thea.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
the exam that we are doing, like these tests, the CBAP is more like scenarios, cases.
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
much by doing these, like, can, in a way, like, will we be doing any kind of practice exam using like cases as
Oh, yeah,
CBAP?
yeah. So let me go back to this. So some of your questions that you're going to see, let me go back in. Some of your questions you're going to see are going to be just like this. Okay? But then there's the longer questions, and
Yeah.
they're going to look something like, let me find one real quick.
Here it is.
Like this.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, jeez.
So you're going to have one question, one scenario with a bunch of different information in it, and you're going to have 5 questions based on it.
Okay, okay.
So the strategy for this, and I was going to hit this after chapter 8, is you have 2 options, and you have to figure out which one works best for you, and it might be a combo. You can read through this entire thing, and you're going to be reading stuff that has nothing to do with some of the questions, but it gives you a basis. And what I like to do is instead of read through it, I skim through it. It's like, okay, that's about that, and that's about that, and not worry about getting all the details. You just need to know it's up there somewhere. And then come down here and read your question and all your answers, and then go back up and find that paragraph or that 2 paragraphs that's actually talking about that thing. And then you're just comparing that piece and your question. And then you go on to the next one. It's going to look like this. Same scenario, nothing's changed up here. Your question and your answers are going to be different. So we will go through this after we get through chapter 8 and we get your application in. That's going to give you a few more weeks of doing this type of scenario. And I will tell you that I counsel every single student. I don't know why, but it seems very consistent. You first open your test, the first questions are going to be like this. It's almost like they do it to see if they can shake you. And I tell every single student, skip to question 25. Just skip to question 25. And if you still see one, skip to 30. You can come back after you get those easy ones under your belt, okay? After you kind of develop your routine, you get a bunch, knocked off, and then you can come back and spend some time focusing on this, because then you know how much time you have left. Okay? I call these essay questions, which confuses people because they feel like they have to write the essay. You just read the essay is what it is.
Okay. And do they ask, let's say, also specific questions technique by itself, or also they are in the scenarios?
They'll give you a scenario, and then they'll ask you about which technique should they use. They need to get information quickly from people that are dispersed over 3 continents. Which technique should they use? It's like, well, yeah, y'all know that one. They need to come up with new ideas quickly. Which technique should they use? It's things like that. For the most part, I think y'all are in good stead, especially if you've been working through those technique packets that I created. Tell me, has anybody been working through those technique packets? Let me just ask it that way.
I have a question.
Yes.
One of the issues I found studying for CCBA was the financial analysis techniques. I just could not grasp them. Will we be going over those?
The financial techniques, I will give you a packet to
okay.
let you go over that.
Cool.
Let me be sure I don't already have it in there. I thought maybe I did.
I haven't looked at this. So
the word problems and logic problems, this one is more detailed than you need, but I wanted you to have some exposure to it. So it's like annualized cost, return on investment, break-even analysis, weighted scoring models. And then some of these others are just, you got a whole bunch of information. How do you structure it so you can do a comparison? So I just show you how to do it in this.
I had some questions in the CCBA exam about net present value and like where I had to actually get out a calculator.
So there is a calculator that's on screen for you, and you use your mouse to do it, which is so much fun with numbers. You might be able to use your keyboard. I don't know. I couldn't use my mouse, but I am convinced, and I've talked to several students, other students, not just myself, since I took mine. I'm convinced that there's probably 3, maybe 4 questions on my test. The correct answer was not on the screen. I mean, I did my math 3 different ways, and the correct answer was not on the screen. So you just pick the one that's closest and go on, because you can't tell anybody, you can't ask questions. You just do it. So I'm telling you that because I don't want you to hit that and go, the whole test is broken and I can't think anymore. It just expect some of the math problems are wonky.
If you
You can pass your test.
understand the concept of net present value and so on, that'll almost be enough. And B, you might want to include a section in that document on payback period.
Yeah, I found issues with that too, where they gave the wrong answer on the screen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Amanda, do me a favor, and if you don't mind going through this and tell me if there's
Sure.
something we're missing.
Sure.
I have this problem that I want to give you information, but I don't want you to feel like it's a book, you know, that that place in between. On any of the documents I've created for
What
y'all, if you
Thea
find
has put
improvements,
together for you guys is astounding. I'm blown away. I've written a lot of stuff. I haven't written this much stuff in this way for this specific purpose.
this is what I felt like it was required to be able to give you what you needed. So use it in good health. Tell me if we can make improvements. We'll keep raising everybody up. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy Asian girly girl.
Okay. I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Y'all do fantastic. I'm planning on. I've been waiting to do this particular vacation. This is the first real trip since before we got married, and he's had 4 surgeries. And before he has the next surgery, we're gonna go get it done.
So is there
Okay,
no study group next week? There's no study group next week?
There
Or
is
should we?
study group. Esther's going to
Oh,
be running the study group next week, so bring your
amazing.
questions and be ready to do chapter 7 again.
Awesome.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
you.
Bye.